Hi, this is Craig, and welcome back to another episode of Cruising Off Duty. Well, if you're a Canadian like us, you get sick of winter pretty damn fast. But if you've got those winter blahs and you couldn't get away, well, you can live vicariously through this channel, because we're going to take you along with us on our Carnival cruise that brought us to various Caribbean islands to go scuba diving. In the last episode, we showed you the scuba diving we did in Grand Cayman, but in this episode, we're going to go on to show you the even more beautiful scuba diving that was in Roatan. And then in upcoming episodes, we go on to scuba dive in Belize, and then we do a dune buggy excursion in Cozumel, Mexico. So hopefully all this warm Caribbean goodness we're going to show you in this episode and the following episodes will get rid of those winter blahs. If it makes you feel any better, I'm getting a little bummed editing this back in Canada. I wish I could go back. Let me just tell you, Carnival Cruise Lines are sneaky. As soon as you get off the boat, you're ushered like cattle through their duty-free store. There's no other way to get off this dock. And they've built a place called Mahogany Bay, which is all owned by Carnival Cruise Lines and has security gates and all that to make sure the locals don't just get on and start schlepping their stuff at you, I guess. It does have that super touristy feeling of being in Disneyland, but at least you're not being hassled by a bunch of people trying to sell you stuff all the time. Wait, I've spotted locals. Okay, so what else does this have? Well, it has a really fancy interlocked brick walkway to get yourself to the beach. But if you think walking your butt all the way over to the beach is just way too much work, they've got this gondola so you can just sit there and do absolutely nothing while you go to the beach. And they even spritz you with water in case you're getting hot from all that lack of exertion. But if you are one of those people that want to get your 10,000 steps in a day, I found this little gem hidden in behind the duty-free store. I don't think anybody knew it was here. It's a nice little groomed nature trail with some warnings about not slipping and falling. You know, that whole liability thing. Anyways, they really should mark this better so people know it's there, because I didn't see anybody walking on it. But if your thing is dancing like a fool while you're getting drunk, this is the place for you. Well, you can't say he's not burning calories. Anyways, as I pan around, you can tell this is really, really touristy. But I was here years ago in Roatan, and it was kind of sketchy. A lot of crime in the area, and cruise lines used to actually warn you about not just walking around. So I guess now Carnival just bought up land and made a little safe haven around their dock. So here's the bus ride that took us to our scuba excursion. And you'll see we're still inside Carnival's land. You'll notice Carnival excursion people walking, and you're wondering why. It's because they booked a private tour. That means they have to walk all the way outside the security gates to meet their tour company. If they're not part of Carnival, they don't get inside the security gate. So keep that in mind if you think you're going to book privately and save a few bucks over going through the Carnival cruise excursions. You're going to be walking for a while. This is a big property. And there you go. There's the security checkpoint that nobody from the outside can get in from. Just a word to the wise. Some of the scuba people we were with had their own gear. Can you imagine lugging all that stuff all the way out here to meet your excursion? Craziness. So the taxi bus brought us to our dive excursion shop, and check out how beautiful this area was. Wow. I really should take a picture of this. I'm wondering how much they charge to sleep in those cabanas on the water, but I'm guessing if you have to ask, you can't afford it. So here's the dive boat that we're going to be taking out. It looks identical to the dive boat we were on in Grand Cayman. Maybe they all buy them from the same manufacturer, who knows. But decent enough boat, and this was a really good crew to take us out.
Alrighty guys, if you got your personal gear, let's go ahead and start getting set up.
One added bonus of going on a dive excursion is you usually get a boat ride out of it. And Janice and I like being out on the water in the sun. It's just awesome. Unfortunately, this time the boat ride was about 10 minutes instead of yesterday's 30 minutes to get to the dive site. But it makes more sense that the Scuba Dive Company is located there, right close to some of the best diving. We really did have the most beautiful weather, and as you can see, Roatan, which is part of Honduras, is actually beautiful, really lush and green. I would definitely consider coming back here to dive, although like we've heard before, some of the areas in Roatan are a bit sketchy, so you want to make sure you get your hotel or Airbnb in a good spot. All right, it was time to go diving. Great day diving here in Roatan.
It was awesome. Weather. Very good.
Coral was definitely brighter.
We saw seahorses. The guy our dive instructor was constantly on the lookout for seahorses, and he found us 3 of them.
And I saw a big, huge turtle up close. Did you see the turtle, or did you just see it from a distance?
From far above. I couldn't get down.
Janice was too buoyant. So yeah, I think this is definitely better than Grand Cayman.
Yeah.
And tomorrow we're diving in Belize. So we'll see what we think of that. All right, talk to you later. Unlike yesterday in Grand Cayman when they got us back just in time for the boat to leave, this time we got back in time to actually get the drone up, which means we get to check out this harbor from the air.
Dream up a world of pirates, climb the highest tree, fall down. Mama, I'm fine, don't worry. Go back out to sea, sail home, sweet home, where the ships must go to get all cleaned up and put away.
And that's all we got. That's right. See what happens, I took off and the micro SD card I had in the DJI Mavic said it was full. So I landed, I put a different SD card in, which luckily I had a second one, and I took off and I flew around this harbor and I got some great footage. I even looked at it in my cabin later to see how good it was, and boy, it was awesome. But then I put the SD card back in the Mavic Pro and I flew it at Belize. And don't you know it, DJI renumbers their recordings the same number as the previous one, so it recorded over it. So yeah, that's all I got. I've subsequently learned that in the settings you can change that so it always counts up forever, but it wasn't set like that. How do you like Roatan?
It was fabulous. I love Roatan. It's so lush and green and beautiful.
Yeah. Water's clear and
Yeah.
the diving's great. And now that they built up this Mahogany Bay, I guess Carnival bought it and totally renovated. It looks like Disneyland now. Very clean, don't feel at all at risk. Years ago when we came to Roatan, they told us to be a bit careful because at that time they didn't have any security around the boat and you could get mugged. Not anymore. Before dinner, Janice and I wanted to hit the hot tub. Back here it's the adults only hot tub and it has a great view from way up here. I mean, it's almost as good as the drone shot I got. Let's check it out. Okay, who am I kidding? That's not even close to as good as the drone shot, but yeah, what can you do? Stay tuned next episode when we scuba dive in Belize, and it's quite good, except for I've got a kind of a scary story. My little swim buddy here, Janice, and the dive master didn't notice I wasn't with them, and they swam back to the boat without me. Kind of a scary proposition to be alone in the ocean, but clearly I survived it or I wouldn't be making this episode, so obviously there's a happy ending. And in Belize, we not only have enough time to fly, but we actually have an SD card that records the whole thing, so we'll have that to look forward to. So hopefully you tune in for that, and the best way to not miss an episode is to subscribe to the channel, so if you haven't done that, do that now. If you like this episode, please give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments, or even better, send me an email at cruisingoffduty@gmail.com. And until next time, this is Craig signing off, wishing you safe cruising.